People who've dated someone from a completely different culture. What surprised you the most about the Aryans? I have a sweet one. I'm from Latin America, he's German. At the beginning, he wouldn't flirt at all, according to me. He wouldn't try to get physically close to me, hug me by my waist, no great romantic gestures, which are eked from the man in my culture. It got to the point where I wasn't sure if he liked me. What he would do was find the time to do things with me, and would reply to my texts super fast, even during working hours. Was talking to one of my friends of 10 years, who also happened to be living in Germany at that point for 3 years. I had just moved. He told me, "Are you crazy? That man's head over heels for you. Germans value time above everything, and he's giving it to you. He's literally giving you the thing he values the most in the world to you." Next time we met, I asked him directly if he liked me, and he was like, "Of course. Why else would I give you my time?" LOL. We still joke that we owe our relationship to my BFF for clarifying that cultural difference. Props to you for directly asking. I'm too old to be playing games, LOL. I knew the type of relationship that I wanted, and one of my very rigid boundaries in relationships, friends, family, partner, work, is that I refuse to read minds. If you're reading me to be okay with you not being sure if you want to be serious or not, or giving me mixed signals in romantic partnerships, or that you tell me A but really meant ABC, and I'm supposed to figure that out, I'm out. I'm not saying I'm an asshole, because that's how people interpret being direct, especially people from the US, but I'm the type of person that will tell you what I want or how I'm feeling and why, and eke the same level of adult communication from you. Piggyback right on this, because I cherish the time same as Germans do. For me or where I come from, it's normal to arrive 5 to 10 minutes earlier to the agreed time/invitation/meeting/work. If I tell you I will see you in 30 minutes, I'm going to be there 30 minutes sharp. I see it as huge disrespect if someone is late, especially without giving proper reason and apology. Now from where my other half is, 2-hour delay is normal. That was one of the biggest shocks. Until this day none of her family members can Ellen to me how come when movie starts at 8, they will make it or be able to catch a plane, but when person invites them at 6 they will show up after 7. Yes, it's the same in my culture. I am punctual by LatAm standards. I'm 15 minutes late at worst, and now that I live in Germany, I've learned to be extremely punctual. However, I'm still late if I'm meeting my Latino friends, as that's the cultural expectation. It's weird. When we're hosting, we usually tell the Germans, and Dutch, the exact time. We tell the Latinos to arrive 2 hours earlier. Works like a charm, everyone arrives at the same time. He wouldn't try to get physically close to me, hug me by my waist, no great romantic gestures, which are eked from the man in my culture. It got to the point where I wasn't sure if he liked me. What he would do was find the time to do things with me, and would reply to my texts super fast, even during working hours. Till I might be German in relationships. Just how busy everyone is in Japan. If you ask a girl out and she's keen, she will whip out her calendar on her phone and ask if you have any days free next month. When a girl I was dating told me that in her last 1-year-long relationship she'd only actually met her ex-boyfriend maybe 10 times total, I was floored. But then I asked a group of about 6 Japanese women how often they meet their boyfriend when they're dating, and it was once per week, once per 2 weeks x2, once per month x3. If you're both working, it's hard to find time to meet. Text message responses come back 2 days later because texting at work isn't a thing, and when PPL come home they want to claim some time for themselves and unwind instead of play secretary to the incoming messages on their phone. No wonder the Japanese population is in decline, if people don't even have the time to date. The rest of us figured out, if work life eats into your personal life, then personal life should eat into your work life. I had a totally different experience dating in Japan, but that was probably because I was in the Inaka. Had a girlfriend basically move into my house after 2 dates and never left. We've been married for 8 years now. Google says Inaka means something like countryside, rural, or hometown for other people who didn't know what this meant. That makes sense. A lot of stuff that people say is a Japan thing, it's actually a Tokyo thing. That's so funny. Though I never dated anyone in Japan, I had this experience before. I spent a semester abroad and a Japanese student asked me and another girl from Germany if we wanted to eat lunch together. She was interested in studying in Germany. We said sure, thinking she wanted to go tomorrow or that week, but she whipped out a calendar and gave us a date 3 weeks later. I whispered to my girlfriend, "What are they fighting about?" My girlfriend stops the dinner conversation to make an announcement in Italian, that the Canadian wants to know what the men are fighting about. Everyone bursts out laughing. The men, Ellen, they are not fighting but rather exchanging recipes. Then her mother invites me into the kitchen for a cigarette and flirts with me. I was 18. They were Milanese transplants. That penultimate sentence hit me like bricks on a pendulum. From Milan? Oh boy, that should have been one of the quietest exchanges from our country. I am also from around there, and the rest of the Italians are in another league. Especially the more you go south. Milan is practically Germany if you compare it to every part of Italy south of it. If you mistook their recipe convo for fighting, I'm gonna assume you mistook the flirting, too. My thought as well, I like how he wrote it like it was a fact even though he just got something else completely wrong, lol. That a lot of things that I marked up as cultural differences were actually massive red flags that when translated to my culture would have made me run. My friends and I had a conversation with a Chinese woman here in Mexico. She had attributed most of his failings as a boyfriend to him being Mexican, a whole other can of worms, as it turned out, not an asshole. When she started opening up to more people, she realized that other Mexican boyfriends were not assholes as hers was, and we told her that he's not a bad boyfriend because he's Mexican, but because he's a misogynistic pig. Why did you sleep with my best friend when I was down with the flu? It's a Mexican thing. My ex was from a much different culture than I and I chalked a lot of things up to his culture. Turns out he was just an asshole, no matter what the culture. And that's why I think some men like to date women from other cultures because it's easier to hide their stupidity behind a language barrier. Realizing normal is just what your family does. This is such an underrated comment. I've had many conversations about this with my siblings and we try to figure out why we think some stuff is normal and some are not. A lot of it is what you have seen your family do. Just wait until you have kids and you have to reconcile two normals, and then watch your kids throw a fit when you change something about what you've just made up. My wife, family, and I reconciled the very different Christmas traditions of 4 cultures and households, and now all the kids think this is just what Christmas always was. It's wild. The big realization of every parent. Traditions are just what you make an effort to do in your home easier with kids, much harder after they move out. Give your parents some kudos for all the traditions they play acted for you that you think are just normal. They were just trying to figure out how to do it in a way to reconcile what 2 sets of parents decided before them. People from Spain pass off anger issues and emotional instability as passion. It's not passion, Jose, you need therapy. Also, a person can indeed love their mom too much. LOL. Oh. I feel there's a story behind that last part. The thing about Spaniards is that they are proud as all fuck even if they're nice. They don't even realize all the problems they sweep under the carpet just to avoid admitting they have flaws and make mistakes. I dated a Filipina who told me I was not dominant enough for her. She said it was not my fault, that her culture had taught her to be obedient to her man, and that she knew I would never provide the kind of relationship she would be comfortable with. I was shocked. You must have dated the other end of the population somewhere in the countryside, and I'm so sorry for your experience. Because the working girl millennials' problem is that they are interpreted to be too dominant for men. At least for Filipino men who are intimidated by accomplished Filipinas. I'm a lawyer and single. My office is full of female lawyers, 80% single. Half my female law school friends are single. And all we do is travel, find new hobbies and work. Because the more accomplished a Filipina becomes, the less marketable they become in the local dating scene. Like PH Society raised the recent generation of women as multi-hyphenated go-getters, but the Filipino men were raised to be such divas. Harsh but true. I'm a lawyer and single. My office is full of female lawyers, 80% single. Half my female law school friends are single. And all we do is travel, find new hobbies and work. Where exactly is this office full of independent single Filipino lawyers by chance? Just for research purposes.